What's up, y'all? Rocking with the Tank Commander Zulu. I'm back at it again in that real man movement. We getting ready to go in there and do an interview with Cory Phillips from Trilogy Sports. The brother is giving back to the community. He's a spiritual man. He's a real man. We're going to talk a little bit about his story. His story is similar to mine, as well as a lot of brothers out there, a lot of real men that once made mistakes in life and they corrected their mistakes, and now they are standing as real men, being good examples for their children, for their sons and their daughters, and not only for them, for other young men in the community. Dealing with real men of substance once again. So the interview today, pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to what's being said, and once again, we encourage and represent real men. Real man movement, baby. Tank Commander Zulu. Tank Commander Zulu back at y'all once again. Salute to all the subscribers. Salute to all the people that's watching and looking. Today with the real man movement, I have Cory Phillips, my man. Cory Phillips, Trilogy Sports, baby. The brother's doing some wonderful things in the community. He's a native of St. Louis, a real man, comes from the same kind of background like myself, y'all. We didn't always have it good, but somewhere along the line, God got involved in our lives, and we heard the call, and we changed our lives, and we're still changing our lives for the better. So I'm gonna introduce you guys once again to Cory Phillips of Trilogy Sports. What you got, brother?
I'm definitely glad that we spoke about what you're doing, the purpose, behind what you're doing, and it speaks volume to me because I'm one that grew up fatherless, and so my hands was able to get on and get into a lot of different things in life, and so I know how easy it is, and with the direction of the world and the need that we have in this present day, we have to begin to start to look at a different paradigm in our mind so that, movements like this begin to rally around and corral men and young men alike into a positive direction, a positive mindset.
That's right.
And so, that's pretty much
right. And that's 100% correct. I mean, we live in a world today where things are very, very much different than they used to be. And what I mean by different, I'm talking about in the area of core values. As a man, there's some core values that we should adhere by. A man is supposed to be strong. The Word of God says that the man is the stronger vessel and the woman is the weaker vessel. But now, we also have to learn and understand how to respect and protect our woman. Not disrespect her, but to be able to respect her the right way that a man should. But we have to have what God gave us. He gave us the ability to do things that women can't. And the reason he gave it to us because there's a responsibility that's associated with that. So with the brother Cory saying, let me get into a little bit of something, brother. Me and he talk. Me and his brother. Let me give you a little history. Me and his brother connected from sports, working out. Came to the gym, and how you say a lot of times they say real recognize real, and that's exactly what happened. We recognized two men that have really been through something, and we talked about it. But we also recognize the fact that our lives now we're attached to God, and we're trying our best to continue to stay attached and to be the right kind of examples. So Cory's from St. Louis. And his story, if you mind, brother, you want to share a little bit about your story, man, and what's gotten you to this point, what you used to be into. Now, you don't have to get in graphic detail about those things, but what you used to be into, what you came from, and what you're seeing today, man.
Yeah, basically, it's the age-old thing for a black man, in America, especially, after we come into the 80s, and to the 90s. 90s was really where the gang infestation began to just take off.
That's right.
I believe in every city. And so I grew up in that era where, I remember being in middle school, and I had a guy that we used to be really good friends, but you know, he lived on the other side of the tracks. He was a Blood. My neighborhoods was Crips. And you know, they jumped this guy Johnny, man. And I remember that day all too well because when we came out of school, you know, I think we was in 8th grade. When we came out of school, the whole sidewalk was nothing but Bloods. I mean, up and down. I mean, this is a long sidewalk. All you know, it's probably like 8 buses parked out here along the street, and they standing along the fence. As soon as we come out, you know, I remember before the bell rung, my principal went out there. He was trying to get them to clear out and leave. Man, they ended up jumping him, and he you know, he was under the bus. Then they dismissed, and when we came out, they started shooting. See, so and that sums up a lot because see, in that, these are a lot of young men that don't have fathers. That's leading themselves. You know, we got all of this strife towards one another because of clothes. We got strife towards one another because we don't have a higher thought process than what's around our environment. Everybody's on amp or everybody's on, you know, this mindset where we are combative towards one another. You know, just because you don't like how somebody looks. So growing up like that, you know, for myself, it just, you know, and this is really making me reflect because there was a lot of pain.
Right.
You know, that's because with stepdaddies, you know, I had stepdaddy hit me in my head with a gun. You know, that was an off the chain experience. And then not only that, but when I sum it up and I look at the whole of the matter is that my whole childhood was spent around crackheads, going to bed hungry some nights because we just wasn't gonna eat. I mean, it was 7 of us. You know, we lived in a house that, you know, sometimes the utilities was on, you know what I mean, or we may have ran into some issues and we had to adapt for a second. So, you know, the whole of it, man, is that I grew up and learned how to become a man from the people around me, and I come to find out at this age, it really wasn't being a man because being a man was classified so many different things. Like, you know, when you're growing up in the neighborhood, in order to be considered a man or somebody that's in with everybody else, you got to go perform something. You got to go do something. You know what I mean? And if you know what I'm talking about, then you understand what that is. You know, I've seen, you know, a lot of people, you know, get their lives taken because of foolish things like this. You know, and, you know, the biggest thing about it is that, and I'll share this and I'll be done, Raymond, but this is what changed my life. I was getting ready to leave St. Louis to go play football at the University of Central Missouri. And I just remember that summer how, you know, I just couldn't wait to leave. I didn't know what I was going to, but I know I can't do this no more. Because right now, I'm watching folks, you know, die as I get prepared to go to college. You know, right before I left, I watched this guy I knew that's dead, and I watched him shoot 2 people right across the street from him. You know? So, and that was in June. I had a couple of months to go before I was leaving in August. Right. And so, between that experience and the experience I had right before school got out where I met this guy at work. We got into a real big deal, like we was gonna get into it tough, like it was gonna turn into something. Right. And come to find out, this was my blood cousin. I didn't know this guy at all. And we got into it to the point where I was getting ready to push him in some hot grease, man, at Captain D's. That's how serious it got.
A guy like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Raymond, you know, I tell you, it's about, you know, 2-3 months later, we end up squashing that. We riding home, and you know, we getting, you know, toe up. You know, the whole deal.
Whole routine.
Yeah, man. And so we comes up to a spot on St. Louis Avenue, Marcus, and I say, "That's my uncle's store." And he say, "That's my dad's store." At the same time, I'm like, "What?" He said, "No, what you say?" I say, "That's my uncle's store, Uncle Kenny." Right. Like my Uncle Kenny being there, Uncle Tom. He was like, "Man, I'm Kenneth Jr. That's my dad and Uncle Tom. So you know, and he started naming his children, Yvette, and I said, yeah, I know them.
Wow.
He was like, wow. He said, so who is your dad? And I was like, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know who my dad is. He went down, named my uncles. He said, well, you must be Mick's son. He said, I don't know. He said, your mom up? We go to my house. My mom see him.
Knew off top.
And she called his name, KJ. And I'm like, wow. And so after that, Raymond, I met my dad.
For the first time?
For the first time, 19 years old. And it blew me away because when I met him, I'm looking at him.
Right.
Man, we look just alike. We sound alike. We doing the same thing. We great. I ain't grew up around.
Right.
We laugh in the same way, you know. We cracking jokes like at the same time, same type deal.
Same type of energy.
And it blew my mind. So then it started me on a journey in life that if I ain't never know him and we that much alike, what would it be like for me to be in my sons' lives and not only being in their lives, but really now giving them all the impactful things.
That's right.
That's gonna break this
cycle.
Generational cycle.
Right. That's right.
You see,
that's what it's about, brother. Man, you said a mouthful. That listen, one thing you said about you mentioned pain, and that's what I think that our young men today have a problem with processing pain.
Yeah.
What I mean by processing pain, you know, if something hurts you, I might say ouch, I might scream. My scream is going to be different than yours,
right?
But it's still a scream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it may not sound differently.
Right.
You may scream a high pitch, I might scream a low pitch, whatever it may be. But it's a response to pain.
Right.
And just like you, brother, you know, I grew up in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, and it was always violence. And like you said, in your area, it was Crips and Bloods. In the South, in the Ninth Ward, in New Orleans, it's wards. So we came up, we were always fighting against the wards. You'll see the 3rd Ward, 9th Ward, 5th Ward, 17th Ward, 15th Ward. You know, all those kind of things like that. So, you know, that kind of thing almost, and a lot of the brothers that I grew up with, fathers were, if they were there, they were impaired. And what I mean by impaired, a lot of them were alcoholics. It's before the crack epidemic, you know, really was as big. Or they were drug addicts, you know, and one way or another, they learned to disassociate themselves from the family life and, you know, gravitate to the street life.
Right.
And like with my father himself, my father was an alcoholic though, but he had multiple families as well. So him and my mother, you know, weren't able to give us, me and my 3 brothers, to give us, my 2 brothers, at least the 3 of us, the kind of home that would be one that's solid, where you can really grow from. So you start picking up things from the streets. And like I said, I'm the oldest of 3. One of my brothers, of course, you know, was murdered in New Orleans, in the 9th Ward of New Orleans. So this tattoo that I wear, that's him.
Gotcha.
His name is Lance Williams. Actually, my son that's behind the camera, that's who he's named after, Vontrell Williams. His name was Lance Vontrell Williams, and I named him Vontrell Lance Williams.
Gotcha.
So we lost him in the year of 2000, June 26, he passed away, shot 7 times with an AK-47. And just was no recovering from that.
Yeah.
I held his hand while he took his last dying breaths.
Right.
But I'm saying all that to say that, listen, it's a circle of violence that's being produced because of pain. And whether we understand the pain that the person is dealing with, we feel the results of it. Oh. And not only one person feels the results of that pain, multiple people feel it. And it's been multiple friends, man. All my friends, I can say 80% of the friends that I grew up are dead or in jail for life, for murder. You understand? The thing that changed, the reason I don't, you know, and I can say it was nothing but the hand of God covering me, even when I didn't have no sense. Because I'm the kind of guy that was always confrontational.
Right.
I didn't believe in running from nothing, you know. And of course, I was fueled by alcohol, fueled by drugs. You know, marijuana is the most thing I ever did. Marijuana and drink. But still, I was fueled by something to go out there and do things.
Right.
And a lot of things I did then, I'm not proud of at all today.
Oh, yeah.
But at that time, when I was doing those things, it seemed like a badge of honor to do it, and people looked at you with respect. It's the wrong kind of image. So I guess we're dealing with, when I'm talking about pain, we're dealing with, okay, the young people today, the younger generation, what do they see as something to gravitate to? Do we gravitate, because it's obvious that they're gravitating to a lot of rappers, a lot of people talking violence, senseless violence. Let me get the gun, let me go bang on them, let me do this and that, those things like that. Now the generation when we came up, that I came up in, I saw the swing of things because, like I said, I'm 50 years old now, but you're probably not too far away from that.
Yeah.
But when NWA came out, I guess that swinging music right there, we always used to fight from the hands. You know, when that was something, you go ahead and fight, you got a problem, one take the L, you take the L. You know, y'all might have to fight again a couple of times or something like that, but it wasn't no just, we gonna kill him. That gravitated from when the shift of the music changed. And it went to kill, 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 murder, murder, murder. I'm a strong believer in that you can speak those things that are not as though they were. You can speak things into existence. The entire culture changed from being rowdy, a bunch of young men out there just kind of being rowdy, maybe a little misguided, misled, to turning almost to hopelessness. Because once you squeeze that trigger and you kill somebody, this is not a game. It's not no Call of Duty app or nothing like that. You don't have 3 lives. You only got 1. And, some of the things, it really hit me. I was losing friends along the way. I already went into the military. I'd already been in the combat zone. And I was seeing death there. But it hit me hard. I think I came in the year 2000. It was probably 6 years. I lost a good friend of mine out in Bosnia, right there to a landmine. I'm standing right next to him. And by me, I just walked away for a moment, and the mine went off. He hit it. It just cooked off. And the shrapnel grazed me, but I turned around, it cut him in half. Wow. And man, his name was Donald Dugan. Me and him were real good friends, man. And by losing it, that kind of dealt with me. It impacted me in a different way. It was a graphic murder. Not murder, but it was a graphic death. But the fact is, who do you blame? I can't put my hands on the person. I can't even see the person. It was a landmine. Wow. And the fact that, how graphic the death was and the way his body looked and was contorted, it became real to me from that point about how fragile life is. Life is real fragile. But I had been dealing with that, and 6 years later, my brother got killed. Wow. And that, man, it was taking me over the edge with all of this violence. I still wasn't right, man. I was doing a lot of drinking, running around and things of that nature. But when that happened, man, it was a series of events that took place even after that, Those things that showed me about life, about the decisions and choices that we make, and how they not only affect you, but they affect multiple people. In my instance, it didn't just affect me, it affected my other brother, it affected my mother, it affected my father at the time, it affected everybody who loved that individual. Yeah. So my pain was to want to go out there and do the same thing to somebody else. Oh, yeah. But I gotta say that the difference in that thing was because God got really involved, man. And when my children, me and my wife was married for 10 years before we had our first son, Raymond, him holding the camera. And it was the only thing that was keeping me as, from going all out. And then, man, I was sitting at the table in my basement, man, drinking. I had some Seagram's in there. I had some marijuana right there. And, man, that point, man, something just hit me. And I know it was God that just hit me. And, I got tired. I was tired because I was trying to fight a fight on my own that I couldn't win. Right. And, that was my pain. The way that pain of losing him, and I still feel it today, because we were really close. Losing my brother, I really recycled that thing. God let me recycle it through him. And I learned to get a comfort in that. I'm not saying it's something that happened overnight, but it did work in my life. And I understand that I have a responsibility to my children, right, to teach them how to be men. Right. My generation, like my uncle, it was all about fighting, and drinking and how many women you could get. Right. But outside of that, it wasn't nothing else. No. The conversation was either a drunken conversation, and inside of those things, listen, I don't discredit that 100%.
Right.
They were doing what they knew how to do. But that wasn't all that's not what makes a man.
Right.
I can't live off a drunken conversation, how many women I done had sex with, or how many people I done beat up, or I can't live off of it.
Right.
That's a short lifespan.
Right.
So with saying all of that, my pain had to be processed. I had to take what was given to me and use the good I could find in it, and become a more stable man.
Right.
In other words, I didn't want to be an alcoholic like my father.
Right.
And I saw myself going down that road. I didn't want to be a womanizer like him, but I saw myself going down that road, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was kind of all that I saw. So in order to deal with that, my pain was something that was self-inflicted most of the time. And that's what I had to really understand. A lot of the pain that these young men are dealing with, they come from a root cause, but they're really self-inflicted.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying today. So my question to you, brother, while we're sitting here chopping it up like this, is that what would you say to somebody you don't even know? Young guy coming out the street, you know what I'm saying, Mike? You might have the opportunity to talk to him maybe 10, 15 minutes. And you know he's dealing with some things. His attitude's going to tell you he's dealing with some things. His lack of respect is going to tell you he's dealing with some things, Or if he's a young man's confused, think he a girl. Or a girl thinks she's a boy, or some of those things,
Right.
What are we going to say? I mean, what would you say if you had 30 minutes to talk to that person? What would the conversation be like?
Well, Raymond, it's like this, and I'm pretty straightforward.
Yes, sir.
In my approach, and it's more so asking questions to see if your mindset is leading you down the same path that me and the countless others was going down. And so then, as I am able to draw from your thought process, I'm able to draw from your experiences, then, my number one question is this, would you be happier living life, or would you be more happier, that knowing that this life is going to end pretty soon? And most people will tell you, well, I'll be happy living, but you just ain't found the things in life that really are going to start to ignite a lifestyle that's going to really now bring out the best in you, bring out your personal talents, your gifts. So that was the thing about myself. You see, most people in that is what I'm getting at is you don't know who you are.
That's right.
You spend a majority of your youth being other people. Because you see this guy, so now I want to be like him. I see this guy, I want to be like him. And you start getting bits and pieces and all of it wrong. It ain't till you have that come to God moment.
Right.
Like I did. Just like you were saying, the same guy that introduced me to my dad, he died right after that. He got shot 7 times. And I remember standing at the funeral, and it's just like, man, I just was down on my whole lifestyle, man, because I grew up in this hood, I ain't had nothing. And, I remember the little wine heads in the neighborhood used to always, hey, man, you going to be something one day, Believe it or not, that was about the most light and sunshine that used to come through out of all the other stuff that was going on, is that brought me through. And so sitting down and coming across somebody in that same predicament is really start having a conversation. Just have a conversation. You ain't trying to change their life right now. You ain't trying to get them a different perspective of life. You got to get them to a point where they talking.
Right.
So once you start talking, then you know where you can begin to intercede and be a band of encouragement for them. Because that's all we need. A lot of time we don't hear enough positivity. See, I have a community that I dwell in. One of the things we say to everybody every day, all day, every time we see them, is bless you.
Right.
Why? Because death and life is in my tongue.
That's right.
So blessing somebody is just like telling them shalom. You wishing much blessings and peace on them as much as possible. Because that's the goal of life, to live a peaceable life.
Right.
See what I mean? And you so in the form of how they give it to us, you think going out selling dope and then making a lot of money, then retiring from the game, you're gonna live a peaceable life. It never work out that way.
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
It don't.
Right.
And so in this thing that we find out when we have all these youth that are out here dealing with pain, they really need to have somebody that's really going. Now you can't go up to everybody. You know, I can guarantee you.
Right.
But you know, if the window is open and the Heavenly Father present an opportunity for you to pour into you, because see, I'm being smart these days. I ain't trying to save the world, because you can't save the world. See, the thing is, you gotta look for the opportunities, the ones that I feel like the Heavenly Father is sitting in front of you. That you gotta take. You can't be so caught up in your life that you don't see the other people that need you to say something right now. They need you to say something today that's going to begin to start them on a new path, a new journey.
That's right.
Because you didn't know them, but what they was thinking and what was in their heart, you know, the Father was sending you to give a word of encouragement to them so that they can begin to be on another path. That's all I look for, you know what I mean? Because it's not really a right word. It's not really a right phrase you can say. They ain't handing somebody, you know, well, I read this book, that you know, because the problem has gone so deep now. It's cutting to the core of these folks. Because they seeing their parents on drugs. There's a lot of men running in and out. You know, you don't barely have what you need. You can't participate in none of the activities at school because they ain't got money. It just jacked up all around. That's what type of environment I grew up around. Right. And so the little things that lit for me was when I did have a teacher, you know, come up and say, I know what you're going through.
Right.
I know what you're going through. Believe me.
Right.
Here, you know what I mean? A little something. You know, when I first went to college, you know, my very first paper I wrote, I ended up being in a pre-PhD program, the McNair program. But before, I was in all remedial classes coming into college. And the first professor, I forget her name, but she called me to her office and said, I want to talk to you about this paper you wrote. She said, do you want to be in college? I said, I don't have no choice. She said, well, you're not going to make it with this low-level writing. I said, well, what I need to do? Because all you got to do is show me what I need to do. I guarantee you, I'm going to get it done. Right. She said, well, I'm willing to help you because I can tell that you are a very strong young man, and I want to help you do what you need to do. And this was a white woman, so I'm already on the other end. I'm coming from an all black neighborhood. I'm like, I can't trust this woman. Right. But how you came to me, I felt it. Right. See, that's what people want. You know, that's what they need. They need to feel that you are genuine about what it is. Because a lot of us hurt. A lot of these folks I take, you know, Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean? The story he tell, you know, the things, how he grew up, the reason why he went back and gave what he gave was because he had a passion for what his pain was. Right. Tupac wrote about the pain they live in. See, we all, no matter whether we make it to the Most High or not, a lot of us had that origin of pain because we are a broken people in general. We don't know how to not be broken no more. That's right. Say that. Hey, that's powerful, brother. Because you're talking the truth. It's nothing like the truth. The truth outweighs a lie by 1,000 pounds. That's it. So you know what the brother's saying right here. If I had that opportunity to talk to somebody, and which I try to every time I get an opportunity to, I'll tell them the simple things. The simple things to let them know that, hey man, you know you're valued, you're loved. You know, and when you're living in a world where it seems like nobody loves you, the smallest little piece of love you, like you mentioned about the person giving you the money, coming to you and you felt it in your heart. The smallest little piece of attention, you're going to gravitate to it. Whether it's right or wrong. You may find it may be as toxic as it can be. But when you feel it, you know, being that you've been deprived of it, you want to kind of gravitate towards it. And so a lot of my dismay, so to speak, with the generations that came before,
those brothers is that where did we make the disconnect? When did we stop talking to these brothers? Because it got to a point where you see a lot of people, I ain't even mess with him. He crazy, I ain't gonna even say nothing to him no more, you know? And so it's kind of like, instead of soldiering with them, instead of trying to say, okay, listen, I'm not gonna give up on you. It looked like we just gave up on him and said, you know, let him go ahead and do what he gonna do. That boy gonna do what he gonna do. He's crazy. Oh, we kind of gave up on him, man, you know? And in a lot of instances, I feel that a lot of brothers gave up on their families. When I say a lot of young brothers gave up on the responsibility of being a father. Now, some cases, of course, are different. Some issues you just can't get along with. You know, some situations you just can't deal with. And in particularly, if the woman is in a position where she's just not being agreeable at all. There's nothing that you can do about that, but that doesn't stop you from being a father. Sometimes the example of many men is that they're not a father because of the mother. That's impossible.
Oh, man.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, you can do what you, listen, it's nowhere in the world that those children, when they can see every attempt the father made, even if it's been being shot down by the mother, when they become older, they saw it. They can process it that way. Well, my daddy tried, but my mother was shooting him down every chance she got, shooting him down every chance she got. So there's still some hope for a relationship between a father and a son, father and a daughter. But I'm particularly focusing on these young men because these are the ones that's out here killing. These are the ones that's out here being, you know, victims. The young women, you don't hear, you can't name 5 women right now that made the news that killed somebody, you know, horrifically. Not saying that it don't exist, but I'm talking about for the most part, it's young men. With the police, you don't see young black women too much getting killed by the police. Now there's some instances of, there's always going to be some, you know, some instances where this situation may have happened with a woman. But I'm talking about, for the most part, it's young black men. Something's going on there. And we know that, you know, a lot of things, like you said, brother, I can't save the world. We can't. We can only hope that through real conversation, through sharing real experiences, that somebody can gravitate to it. You know, one of the things that I always recommend, you have to have a spiritual life. Now, listen, and to a lot of kids, that may be foreign. They never heard that. They didn't come from a household with it. I didn't come from a household with it. It was my grandmother, Lucille Williams, that turned me on to having a spiritual life.
Right.
Now, this came from a woman. The best, when I tell you, she taught me, her favorite book in the Bible was the book of Job. And she would get us around, it was a lot, I have a lot of cousins and a lot of relatives. And when we were younger, we would all be at her house. Everybody called her mother. But one of the things she would always impart on us is that you have to have the patience of Job. That's what she would always say, the patience of Job and things. But she really introduced me to spirituality. Man, when I tell you that took me a long way, even when I didn't know no better, man. The first time I picked up a Bible ever, I was in Desert Storm, the first time I went. The chaplain gave out these little Bibles, and I'm in there trying to read it. I can't make heads or tails out of none of this, man. I couldn't, it didn't get me that. I'm trying to do it, it was a mechanical, almost a knee-jerk reaction. I might die in the next firefight or something like that, Chaplain giving us Bibles, I'm on the front line. So I'm trying to read it, couldn't make heads or tails of it. But that was the very beginning. I didn't realize it then, but that was the very beginning of me gaining a spiritual life. And not a lifestyle where I'm looking for every flaw in you and I'm beating you down with it. But one that connects you to God in a way that God works with you through your situations. Now, one thing I always tell my kids, the best example I want to lead from as a man in my house, I pray over my family and pray with them. We lock hands and we pray. And I lead prayer continually. And that's because that's showing them as they become men, this is necessary for you to have a spiritual life. Daddy gotta go. Mama gotta go. You're gonna be here. And you're gonna have something to hold on to. And I would tell that to any young man, you outside of yourself, outside of anybody you think your boys or anybody you looking up to, those people will go away. They'll pass on, or you pass for the things that happen in their lives, and they'll be gone. But God is going to be there with you always. And once you develop a relationship with God, and it's more, when I say a relationship, in every relationship, I don't know nobody has a perfect relationship with God. I'm going to say that first of all. And then because sometimes when these people, the young men, have been in the streets and everything is real based. You know, everything you see death is real. You see the interactions in the street, they real. There's consequences. So when we come at these young men with spirituality, I keep it real. Like I tell them, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're gonna be riding on clouds every 24/7, because that's not true. And when you tell them that and they see that's not true, they may see you fail. Oh, that preacher they was listening to, they might say, oh, he found out he got 2-3 other wives or something like that. And so it make it look like everything you told them was fake.
Right.
So we keep it real from the beginning. If you keep it real from the beginning, listen, your relationship with God is just that, a relationship. In any relationship, you got ups and downs, you got times you don't understand things, it's times those kind of things, it's the same kind of relationship. But if you don't give up on your relationship, God's going to give you exactly what you are in need of. He's going to give you the healing you need, you know. And I had to come to that understanding, man, because all the preachers that I ran into and all the people that say they were so spiritual, all of them was like phony. They were phony. And that's just the truth, man. Man, this is in New Orleans. It was one guy, his last name was Miles, I think it was. He's gone dead now, but he was big in the church, over the choirs and everything, and he was a pedophile. Man, when I'm telling you, man, a 100% pedophile.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe that, you know. And I tell you, well, you need to come to church Sunday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that because when we talk to the young brothers today, and this is what I'm talking about, the disassociation of the detachment started. When in particular with spirituality, because I want to deal with spirituality right quick. If I offer you something and it look good, if I offer you a cake, let's say you like chocolate cake, got chocolate icing on it, it's got all the decorations on it, and you bite into it and it's liver inside of it.
Boy.
Or it's something, you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about this now. Or it's something so distasteful to you that it don't look like what it appeared. It looks sweet, but it's actually bitter. So that's one of the things that I believe in the area of spirituality. And that's why you see so many brothers run into this so-called enlightenment or so-called believe in nature. All these other things, you know what I'm saying? They've gotten a relationship with other things outside of spirituality, true spirituality, because it was handed to them with the frosting on it and the bitterness inside.
Right.
So what you think about that, though?
Man, you know, you hitting right in the vein because, you know, for myself, Raymond, I have come to a great understanding that, you know, and when I'm going to say this, you got to understand, see, I don't subscribe to Christianity because Christianity is a religion, but Jesus Christ, the book,
That's right.
the true word is made alive. See, one thing I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna digress to what I make my sons do. We do this every month. You know what I mean, making sure till it becomes a habit in them. You know, but I'm gonna say this. You know, I was at my crossroads. Like you said, you gotta have spirituality. So I was at my crossroads, man, because some things happened to me, man, where, okay, I graduated from college, and I got a decent job, making money, and I can do whatever I want. I ain't in my mom's house no more. Right. But the life I was living, you know, I was hurting from that.
Right.
You know, nobody, you ain't, you know.
Self-inflicted.
Yeah, you ain't know, you know, because every time you seen me, I was fly, I was insane. Right. But at the end of the day, when I go home by myself, I'm hurting because I don't really like this person in my life. I don't really like that person. These folks ain't really. This is an empty relationship I got with these people. And what? So then, what? Why am I empty?
Right.
You understand? And so I started asking the critical questions. If this book is real, then I need to find out, because otherwise, I got stuff that's happening to me to the point where I end up being homeless, bro. You understand? And I had to realize, like, what? How am I ended up here? Did I forget something? It's the path it led to, that I was on. So I end up, long story short, I started seeing things like laying hands on people in the book. I started going for it to see if it was real. Man, it was real. I lay hands on a lady, man, she walked. She do. 4 months after her surgery, they said she gonna walk for 2-3 years. Like, walk, took off. You was on, before you standing there, couldn't even hardly stand up.
That's right. That's right.
So I've seen things like that, man. That ain't the only thing. So I'm saying, okay, that was for me. Now, guess what? My mom don't have to secure that in me no more. I seen something that you don't have no explanation for. You ain't got to wrote down no textbooks, nowhere.
That's right.
Only place that's wrote down is in the Bible.
That's right.
All right. So this is one thing I make my son read, because this is what's important to family structure, because the whole value of having spirituality is, one, because you teaching all of these generations that there is no God.
Right.
You don't need that. Well, or, there's many pathways to God.
That's a lie.
And that's a lie.
Right.
So this is something I make my son read. This is Psalm 78. Right here, we read verse 1 through 8. Check it out. It says, "Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us." See, Raymond, that's the problem, is there ain't no connection.
No fathers.
No father. See,
right.
so
That's
it ain't. So this is why I talk to my sons. But I said it's important for me to sit here and declare the things I've seen with God. Y'all seen things. Right. You said y'all was in the room where you seen one of your baby brothers in here. You getting ready to turn blue, bro. The life leaving out, and you watch me. You didn't see Daddy panic. You saw Daddy sit here and pray.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, you watch your brother come back. How many dads would have done that? See, I'm declaring something to you of old.
That's right.
See, this is what my grandma.
It's written.
You see, it's written.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? See, listen what it's saying. It said, "We will not hide them from their children, showing the generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done.
That's right.
For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children." All right? "That they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast in God." So I make my boys read that, because I said, see,
stubborn and rebellious nation.
that's it. That's it. So you talking about, so I point out, I said, look.
Right.
See, every time I take, because you go to St. Louis with me, you go around and you see all the folks. This is my crew that I grew up with.
Right.
They look 20 years older than me.
Yeah. Same way. I know what you mean.
I said, man, because guess what? They ain't tied into the vein.
That's right.
Like you tied in. I'm tying you in right now. So that, guess what? You better understand that I didn't have no control over them sways that I was in, because I was going off what I learned. I was on that path. Because once I got to a point where I started getting something, now I could see where vainness and pride began to set in, because I was ready to ride back on St. Louis in the hood and go stunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was ready. Why? Because, the hood, it do you bad.
Yeah.
You grow up, if you ain't the one of the big wigs, and You aim to do this, then guess what? Ain't no love for you, ain't no play. You know what I mean? And that's how you learn. You learn what your place is in the hood because you learn that through hard knocks. You learn that through the things that's gonna always be there to keep you down. And then if you try to get up, you see how many of us are tearing one another down.
Right.
I said, I gotta teach this to you because this is one thing that you're gonna have to do in your life.
Right.
You're gonna have to be able to declare the works of God to the next generation coming.
That's right. And it starts with a relationship with
It
him.
starts with the relationship.
That's right. That's powerful scripture right there. You read that out of
Yes,
Psalms
sir.
too, man. So, listen, spirituality is necessary. And I think as a real man in the real man movement, we support and we encourage spirituality. Next thing I want to go ahead and jump into, man, is about a strong mindset. I think today, with the lack of spirituality in our youth, in many of our youth, it leads to a very weak mindset about things. It's one thing you said, brother, about the world's teaching. Oh, there's no God. There's no God. That's not real. You only get it how you live. You got to get what you get. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And that's kind of the message that seems to have been, embraced by a lot of our young men and women of all cultures. There's some young white men, young black men, Asian, whatever it may be. The devil don't care what color they are. He want to get them all. You know what I'm saying? So, strong mindset. And one thing that I've learned about having a strong mindset, and one thing I always used to tell my kids, never give up. When you make a goal, whatever the goal in life may be, don't give up on it until you reach it.
Right.
Then you reach that goal and you make another goal. See what happens so many times because of being misled, not being connected to a spiritual life, you just start talking. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, First of all, you do nothing without God. Nothing.
That's it.
You don't have the next day. We don't even know if there's gonna be a tomorrow.
That's it.
He's in control of those things. So if you're so disconnected from spirituality, and one thing about the young brother you said, Nipsey Hussle, I'm pretty sure he had, the day that his life was taken, he had plans on doing things the next day after that, and the day after that. And he probably thought he was going to do something next week. You see, I think I don't know the young man personally, but I was reading up on some of the things he did. I was very in favor of what he was doing inside of the community, but there's still something you got to deal with. You got to speaking some things into existence. It's so serious, is that people can sing a song that is so full of just negativity. Not saying that you don't listen. If you listen to the song, that's not what the problem is. The problem is believing what's in that song and knowing more what's in that than what's in the Word of God. I don't care if it's just a couple of verses in the Bible. You recite every day. Or you say, I'm gonna take a couple of verses from this song. Just like what he read today. It would be a positive thing to say, let me read that. Let me go back and check that out, man, and commit that to memory. And just commit that to memory, saying that before you know it, you start to speak some positivity into your life. That same thing can happen with negativity. If all I know is this song that is so full of negativity, and I know nothing else, 24/7, all I know is this song. Because I've been a part of that myself, and I have to, before my understanding with spirituality, you have to be able to disconnect from that. You have to know that, listen, what's being said, this is not what I want my mind to be consumed with. My mind has to be consumed with something positive. It's like your body. If I just feed my body cake and McDonald's all the time, it'll never be healthy. Did I eat? Yeah, I ate. But I didn't eat the right things to get to the strength I wanted to get to. And what I mean by mindset, and that's what I'm saying, mindset, a strong mindset. Real men have a strong mindset. And, that means not giving up. It's like the brother Cory here, with Trilogy Sports. I'm pretty sure you got a story leading up to that, into where you were and where you are now with it, and the goals in between it. It wasn't just today, Trilogy Sports, and boom, I'm here now. And so what I mean by strong mindset, and this is what a lot of young men have to learn, men period, Make a goal. Strive as hard as you can toward that goal before you make 7 and 8 other goals. Because you're simply lying to yourself. You know, you have to strive and say, I made this goal, okay, now I'm going to the next goal. And I'm focused on that. That's what a strong mindset is. And that's something that we can pass on, we should be passing on to the generations. Because now some of the generations say, I'm gonna get in the rap game, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna hit millions, I'm gonna buy this car, and just frivolous, silly things. Because none of this, if God take your life, look, as much as people may have loved Nipsey Hussle and talking about how much he's worth, he can't take none of it to the grave with him. He's gone, those things are still here. It's no good, it's no use anymore. So what we should be striving for are heavenly things. And without giving you the cake that tastes like liver, you have to work in your relationship with God. I believe in that. You know, I had to work with my relationship with God, man, you know. And when I got into the Bible said a righteous man falls 7 times and rise again, but the wicked fall into temptation. What does that mean? You know, I asked, you know, I'm a scholar of the Bible. I really studied the Bible really strongly. What that really means is that along the thing to be called righteous, because that's what being connected to God. He wants you to be righteous.
Right.
And he says a righteous man falls.
That's right.
Makes mistakes. He said 7 times. Now, and when he said 7, it's not just the number 7. That's meaning like many times you're gonna fall, but he gets back up and keeps striving again. But the wicked, the one person that say, okay, yeah, I'm down with God, man. As soon as a little bump happened in their life, oh man, I'm done with that. That's what that means. So the mindset now we're talking about, based on spirituality.
That's it.
Because I gotta have that spirit, strong spirit, and that strong mind now. It's gonna create a stronger mind. I can tell you my mind is much stronger now since my connection through spirituality than ever any other time. No matter how many people I thumped on or whatever, anything, like people looked at me for my strength and all that other stuff. But I've been at my strongest point is when I became connected to God. My strongest point. And because it made my mindset stronger. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about, get your opinion on mindset, the importance of it, because to me, my mindset came from my spirituality, my connection and my relationship with God. And inside of that relationship, my falling, getting up, falling, getting up, not giving up on him. That's in a relationship. Like I'm married, I've been married 30 years. If some falling, getting up, sometimes bad, times good, but we stuck, and our relationship has gotten better, better. Love it. In 30 years though. It wasn't like that all the time.
Right.
But I'm just keeping it real. See, I'm gonna give you the cake with the real cake inside of it. I'm gonna give you the cake with the liver inside of it. You know, but my mindset is a direct, in my opinion, and without question, is a direct result of my spirituality and my relationship with God. And I want to get Cory's opinion on that, brother.
Man, you got it, man. Trilogy, mind, body, spirit, brother.
There it is.
That's exactly where it's at. That's what it do. And so, mindset for me is this understanding that, first of all, you got to understand that it is said that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So that means that you got to watch what you say. So when you in tune spiritually, you don't just say nothing. Why? For myself, I understand that my words can either make a righteous covenant or a wicked covenant. So you bind yourself to the things you say. All right? And a lot of people don't understand it. It goes deeper than what you think.
That's right.
See, in a fabricated world, you know, they tell you to, you know, repeat these things, you know what I mean, 10 times a day, and then what you say will come to you. I mean, you become one with the universe. And you see, well, it all comes back to understanding that first, the Most High spoke, and with his words, he created. And so you have the same power in the form of manifesting things through words. You might not believe it, but I'm a witness of it. I understand this. And so my mindset in life now is making sure that if me and you come together to do a business, or we come together on some type of platform, I'm going to listen intently. Because what I say, I mean. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And what What I say I'm not gonna do, I'm not doing it. Why? Because I know that now what I've done, even if you try to go against what I've said in force, against my will, in holding me gunpoint, then guess what? I'm free I'm still free of any type of wicked bondage because of my words.
Right.
See, and it's so important. That's why I said let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Why? Because of that very fact. So then when it comes down to understanding mindset, your mindset has to be one that understands the path that you are on. You got to understand the direction that you are going in. And most of all, you got to understand that ultimately you're not in control of how you get down this path or not. You just have to become one with the Creator, with the Most High, with God, while you're on this path. And then in that, your mindset is going to be strengthened, because as you begin to go forth and you test these things out. See, that's what I learned as a man. See, it ain't about mama went to church and all that. I didn't go to church no more. I cut out.
Right.
And boy, I was out here going. You understand? So church was all the way out of my life. It wasn't about that. You know, it got to a point, man, where the door was shut on wickedness, man, on foolishness. Because this is the ultimate that you gotta understand. If your mindset right, then you're gonna open up and see the light that everything else that's happening out here, man, it's gotta pass away. It's gotta come to a different way of lifestyle than what it is. Because anytime you promoting LGBTQ in schools, you promoting, you know, it's all right to be, even though you're a boy, it's all right to be a girl. I just had a client talk to me about this last night. The principals, they was waiting on her to decide what to do. This is a girl, but you said you're a boy, you want to go to the boys' bathroom. See, we dealing with all this confusion.
Chaos.
And so that again,
Although confusion is ever.
yeah, exactly. So that's my whole point. That's why I do what I do. Mindset. See, I know what path I'm on. I got my boys on the same path. We done pulled out. We ain't my boys don't go to school. Here's the thing. And I'll get into it later, but my business, I'm tied to a lot of professional athletes that's on the same path I'm on, and we starting to look at a new way for our children to participate in activity, opposed to just turn them over, where now you got access to somebody in the locker room, they want to put their mouth on you, on your sons, or you got your daughter, somebody want them to, do something that's
immoral.
It's just immoral. It's just against nature, man. I mean, folks are, they taking what's good and turning it into evil, man. And I'm telling you, your mindset has to be one that you've chosen what you're going to do in life based on what's right and never come off of it. I don't care what happened. When I was homeless, my mind said that I wasn't going to be homeless. My mind said I was going to be helping somebody else, even when I was homeless.
That's right.
When I was dealing with, the fact that I didn't know if I was going to leave St. Louis. That same summer I was going to leave, I had a 12 gauge pulled on me, man, in front of my house. Dude talking bad to me. But I was determined. I was determined to live that night. If I live, then guess what? I'm gonna make sure that I live to tell this story. And somebody gonna learn from me. You gonna look in my eyes and understand that. Guess what? It don't matter that I'm in my 40s now. I'm 42 years old, but I didn't live. You know what I mean? And one of my brothers is up here. We was just talking the other day how him and my cousin was in a car. That thing got shot up from front to back. Got sprayed, and it's like. What do we conclude that to? Right. To self? To another man? Well, if you was in because you was in the car, we know who done that. We know God did that. So now we got to begin to search out His ways. That's what Psalms 78 verse 1 through 8 was about, making sure that we know His way, because that's what you got to set your mind on. The ways of God, so that you can look for. Because when it come on you. A lot of people don't know how to look for God because your mindset not right. I'm going to leave this with you and I'm going to pass it back to him. But this one thing about mindset that I've been building up to was this. The words say the day shall come where men's bowels shall befall them for the sight that they shall see. But what is he talking about? He's saying that there's a day that's going to come that all of society, of every city, everywhere, all over this earth, is going to be in total chaos because of the corruption and the level of sin that's being committed. And there's going to be things that people are going to see that they never thought they was going to see. And it's going to cause them to fear so greatly that their bowels was going to befall them. But he said, but you are not to fear.
That's right.
Because you are the righteous ones. So it's telling you not to fear. How you so think about if you see some things that, according to the Bible, it says that, you know, in Noah's day, you know, they was doing all kind of DNA splicing animals. Well, guess what they doing that these days? You know, already see that they getting ready to bring some stuff out on the earth that people ain't never seen. The book say that the last days shall be worse than the days of Noah.
That's right.
So what we gonna see? So when you see it, I'm not gonna be in the same mindset you're gonna be in. I'm gonna be in a different mindset because I'm already living it. You know, it just you just getting a 16th of what I'm doing right here, man. I'm doing it because I done found the path, man. So doing this right here, this just keep the storefront up. Behind the storefront, man, I'm moving and shaking, brother. I'm ready.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's
man.
go.
Once again, we here with Cory Phillips, Trilogy Sports. Another man that's strong, representing the real man movement. And that's what we here to do. We here to reach out into the community, talk to brothers and sisters who really want to encourage real men. We need to bring back the enthusiasm about being a real man. Some of the stuff you heard today, I mean, it's priceless. I suggest that you go ahead and look at the video, look at it 2 or 3 times. Check it out. Make sure that you take some of the valuable lessons that's been learned today, just through conversation of 2 real men. First of all, we gotta always remember, it's your spirit, your mind, and your body. All 3 gotta be connected, baby, and fear none but God. With that, my man, thank you again, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless what you're doing.
Yep.
And y'all be on the lookout for Trilogy Sports. Where can we find you at, brother?
Man, if you definitely want to look at what we're doing in depth, visit our website www.trilogyexplosion.com. There, as soon as you get on the website, there'll be an opportunity to sign up for our Trilogy Fitness app, where we're able to put together diet plans, weight loss plans, weight management, strength plans. We do a lot of different things, both athletically and for general fitness populations. So you can find us there. Also, if you'd like to give us a call us at 913-805-0290. Again, 815-0290, area code 9138. Brother Raymond, thanks for having us on.
Yes, sir. Hey, you have a Twitter?
Yep.
Twitter and your YouTube?
Yep, our YouTube channel is Trilogy Explosion, and all of our social media is Trilogy SF. So you can find it on Instagram. We're on Facebook as Trilogy Explosion. I think that's pretty much it, man.
That's it. Y'all get on board. Get on board with this real man movement. That's a part of the real man movement. Real men in the community doing real things with real stories about their life.
That's it.
With that, we out. Tank Commander Zulu signing out, baby.